Okay, so we're joined now with the legendary Dave Lombardo. It's beautiful Ludwig kit.
Thanks.
It's very similar, it reminds me a lot of Ginger Baker's kit. Are you a Cream fan yourself? You a fan of Ginger?
Yes. Yeah, I've been listening to his music probably since I was 5, 6 years old, when my older brother used to come back, come home from work, and he wanted to relax, and I guess he told me I used to mess with him. I used to bug him, and he used to tell me to go and listen to this music, and he would love Cream, so I would listen to that, and he loved drumming as well, so he set up like a few boxes on the floor, little books, gave me pencils or some kind of sticks, and I started playing along with his help. He was showing me like that. It was some drum solo he used to do. Toad.
Yes.
The name of the song, yeah. And so, yeah, Ginger Baker is definitely an influence. His solos,
Yeah, you can tell that, and even a little bit the kit setup as well with the two toms. It's very Ginger Baker-esque.
Really? I've yet to see his kit. I mean, at least in person. It's different when you see it, in pictures. But I can imagine it's pretty cool.
And the film's great as well.
I love that film. It's awesome. I love that film. Some of the best quotes are on that film. Heavy metal should have been. The birth of heavy metal should have been aborted. And for him, for the drummer that inspired a drummer that played in a heavy metal band, those were harsh words.
Pretty harsh words.
Yeah. So
when you were growing up, you obviously dabbled in loads of different styles when you first started. Was the progression into metal kind of just like because your friends were playing, or?
No, it was because my interest in music that was heavier than any other music. Like for example, like the Zeppelin songs that I was enjoying at that time were really inspired at that time were the Wonton song, the Immigrant song, Communication Breakdown.
Yeah.
These pieces were heavier, unlike some of their softer, like let's say the Rain song. Never influenced me in any way, although it's a beautiful composition.
The heavier Bonham stuff.
The heavier stuff were the more appealing songs. So anything that was heavier than what I was listening to at the time always appealed to me. And that evolution and that search for music, just continued. And until I'm, of course, playing in a band like Slayer. Kind of took it to that level, and I think it's just me open to music that is, that has that edge than other styles.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the kind of the essence of that group then, and how that came about. How long were you guys rehearsing before you were out playing? Was it pretty quick? Were you getting a lot of songs together? And of course
well, we were a cover band, first, and then we started writing our new material. Some material, and it was a slow climb. Yeah, we paid our dues. We played a lot of small venues, a lot of bars, high schools, house parties, and then we just started getting, into the Hollywood scene. We would play Gazzari's. We played Gazzari's at that time, the Troubadour, several other clubs in LA, but we stayed in Orange County and played a lot of the venues there. Concert Factory, Radio City, Woodstock, and we had residencies at those clubs. Well, at least at the Woodstock, we had a residency there every Wednesday night. We would play, and I'd have to go to school the next day, and I had all this makeup on, and that guy's weird. But it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
I'm reluctant to believe a lot of the things that I read online, so I'm so glad to be speaking to you and asking you this. Is it true that you were working as a DJ at some point for a short period at this time?
Yes, I was. See, my taste in music is all across the board. When I was 14, 15 years old, one of my best friends that lived just around the corner, his dad decided to invest in a mobile disc jockey system.
Right.
Speakers, the 2 turntables, a lighting rig, and he would get gigs and play, these things they call quinceañera here in LA, which is when a girl turns 15.
Yeah.
You know, they had this huge party. And so we would play those, we'd play the high school, and I'd be his assistant, you know, and I'd, you know, get some records on the turntable, do a little mixing, and yeah, we'd play disco, we'd play rock, you know, all kinds of styles of music, whatever, you know, the party asked for. It was our responsibility to go out there and buy new music and play it.
Did
So,
you have
yes,
a
it's
cool
true.
DJ name?
Pardon me?
Did you have a cool DJ name?
Yeah, A Touch of Class.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, A Touch of Class. It was awesome. We had our own shirts, you know,
Really?
light blue shirts with the logo on the back. And,
Fantastic.
oh man, it was great.
Do you miss those days working as a DJ?
It didn't make much of an impact in my
Right.
life. You know, yeah, it was fun. You know, coming home at 4 in the morning. You know, seeing my mom looking out the window. You know,
There he is.
where have you been? If at 14 you're coming home at 4 in the morning, you're going to be in jail by the time you're 17 or 16. You know, she was always worried, but you know, I was paying my dues,
Paying your dues.
pushing gear.
Were your parents supportive then of the music thing, early doors, when you told them I want to be in a band, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, but you know, they saw that I really had kind of detached from everything associated with you know school. I didn't care much about school. I was just focused on music.
Right.
And you know, they were concerned. You know, and then they told me, you know, of course you need to go get a job. You know, get out there. You got to work. You're not going to be a bum. You know, so you know, I had to juggle, you know, work and school, and you know, at that time, geez, 17, 18 years old. I mean, yeah, 16, 17 years old.
I mean, that's interesting to think that you were so immersed in it early doors, and you would have probably seen that you know this is what you wanted to do, and you were committed to it at a very early age.
Yeah.
So moving on to a few years down the line, how much confidence were you getting when you started to see people turning up to see Slayer and the band's getting a bit of a following? At what point did you think, right, this is really going to happen here, and this is something you would have the utmost confidence in pursuing?
I think when we first traveled to San Francisco, just when we got out of LA and went to San Francisco, is when we realized, or at least I realized, wow, there's something happening here. I mean, thinking about it right now gives me the chills, because I envision, you know, the venue we played at, where the stage was, the kids flying, you know, midair, you know, diving into the crowd, because that was the big thing, you know, was stage diving. And you know, we met the guys in Exodus for the first time, and we all got along really well. And it just at that point, that was it. I knew something was up. So we came back, you know, and the record company said, "Hey, you got more shows coming." So we went to Europe. We did, you know, the first time in Europe was amazing. We played the original Marquee in London,
Right.
which was, you know, epic for me. Because, of course, Jimi Hendrix played there, you know, and of course Iron Maiden, which I was a big fan at that time, the early Iron Maiden.
Did you find it overwhelming when you went to Europe the first time that you had this fan base after being in
Yeah,
California?
we didn't know what was happening.
It was like,
When our first show in Europe, which was Belgium, the crowd was chanting, and you know, we couldn't believe it. You know, we thought it was for UFO. I was like, no, it's for you. It's like, no, it's for
I
UFO.
hear that.
Yeah, so yeah, it was cool. And then the fans, of course, they were all into it and crazy and very supportive and enthusiastic, and so it's nothing like what we saw here at home.
Amazing to think that you travel that distance and the band is meaning something to so many people at that point.
Yep.
When we mentioned that we're going to be chatting with you online, of course Twitter blew up, Facebook blew up, so a bunch of different questions here. Somebody's asking, what was it like working with Rick Rubin? What was your experience working with Rick?
It was an amazing experience. Yeah, it was phenomenal, because we were on Metal Blade, and I had heard a rumor that that this producer from this record company, Columbia Records, was interested in the band. And you know, when I told the guys, you know, I said, "Hey man, you know, there's this guy that's really interested in the band and wants to sign us to a major label." Well, obviously it was Def Jam at the time, but they were affiliated with a major label, and they were pretty much content where they were on Metal Blade. But I made the phone call, and I contacted Def Jam, and Rubin ended up coming to my house, picked me up, and then we went to the studio and introduced the guys, and he gave us a whole rundown. He's amazing. I think as a producer, he's obviously one of the best. He brings out the best in musicians. He really pulls out your best performances. That's great, but you can give me a better one. And he would just keep motivating you and giving you these pep talks. And you need a coffee or a candy or something. It's like,
I have to say that he's really good at identifying how to deal with different people. And did you experience that as well? Like some people in need?
I never had, well, I would think he doesn't deal with people that don't want to work with him. You don't want to cooperate with him and, trust his opinion and judgment. I feel that, it's like, you don't need me there. So, I feel that at that point is when he doesn't get along with people. I'm sure. I don't know him that well. It's been a long time since I've spoken to him. But he taught me a lot about music, a lot about producing, just being in a room with him, and seeing his direction and what he was trying to convey to the surrounding other musicians, was fascinating. And that's helped me, in my life in producing, especially with film, and directing them in what I want and how I want it to be played. So it's good.
That leads us on really nicely to talk about this film.
Yeah, it's funny how I do that, right?
Very good. Details all about this now. I've seen bits of the trailer. It's super exciting time for yourself and the band. Give us a lowdown on what's going on.
Okay, right now we're in a holding pattern, which is one of the most frustrating moments, I guess, when you're producing a record and you want that album to be released. You're here. It's done. It's been done for months. It's been a bumpy road, but it's finally complete. We have a record company. Obviously, it's going to be released in Europe soon. Don't have an exact release date yet. And, I'm working with some amazing musicians. First, they're friends. Second, they're amazing musicians, which I believe is important, in a band, content. When you call a band, I think it's important that you need to be friends. Otherwise, it's just a business, You just hire guys and you're just doing the job. So, as far as, friendship and musicianship, these guys are amazing. I'm looking forward to releasing this record and really showing the people what these guys can do.
It's a very, very exciting time indeed. Obviously we mentioned Rick Rubin works very closely with Metallica. Now I want to know about this story. Download 2004, I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Now, what happened? What went on backstage? Again, I'm reading stuff online, different reports. You've got to let us know.
Yeah, okay. My side of the story, we're at Download Festival. I think I had played the Slayer set. Slayer was playing the tent. Metallica was playing the main stage. And I think we did our show, and then Slayer's manager comes up to me and says, Dave, Lars can't make the gig. I'm like, what? Well, dude, what happened? Shit, they're going to cancel me. No, they need somebody to sit in.
How well do you know the Metallica back catalog?
Not well enough. Not well.
There's only 40 years worth.
Yeah. Well, I know the old material. I don't know the new material. So
he's asking you as the manager.
Yeah, he says, you want to step in and do some songs. I say, sure. But I don't know all their material. I would have to listen to it and maybe make a little roadmap, on a piece of paper to show me what to do. But for the most part, I know the old stuff. Anything before the Black Album, I know pretty well. It was exciting.
Wow.
I mean, did you see the video? I just recently saw the video.
I watched it today.
Yeah, it was.
And
very
Joey Jordison got involved.
Yeah. So
right?
are you? Is you and Joey backstage going? Do you know Enter Sandman?
No,
is that the thing going on?
We didn't see each other the entire time.
No.
You played the same cat, right?
Yeah. think. Yeah.
Wow. So how long before they were due to go on stage did this all happen?
A few hours. Couple hours, few hours.
So it's interesting you said it was exciting. Was there a bit of nerves? Was it total excitement? What was it like? You know?
It was excitement. I mean, yeah, I was nervous, but I didn't treat it, you know, I treated it like any other gig that I would be asked to do. You know, of course, you want to honor the drummer that's playing, and you want to do the best job possible. You know, you don't want to ruin the gig.
Did you get a chance to jam with them before going?
Yes,
right.
yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
I really love that because we rehearsed Four Horsemen, and you know, the halftime part in Four Horsemen, you know, it's very special. You know, you got to really lay into it heavy. And when I went into that section, Kurt stopped playing. I said, "That's the way it's supposed to be." And this is true. I mean, I'm not bullshit. He was really pleased with the way I broke into the halftime section. Yeah, so that's the way it's supposed to be.
So after the gig then, James Hetfield, thanks very much for stepping in, that type of thing, yeah?
Yeah. Got a nice little letter in the mail, nice picture.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. Old school.
Cool.
These
guys, I love those guys. They're amazing. You know, love Lars. Everybody, Lars, Dave. There's always this battle amongst the fans. And I wish they would stop because Lars is amazing in his element. You know, it's him. Metallica.
Absolutely.
That's that.
Fans tend to get too attached sometimes
They do.
to specific members and get aggro over it.
I think it's interesting because we got a chance to speak prior to the interview about metal fans being very picky. It's almost like it's a sports team. You know, you like this band, but you can't like Slayer if you like Metallica or vice versa. And I think that's. I mean, have you found that then? Is that a battle that you've ever had to face when releasing a record, knowing that your audience, they're very particular about what they want? You've got to honour what you've done in the past, that kind of thing?
I try not to do that,
right.
You know, because I think the fans have to understand that music is creativity, and I am not going to make a cookie cutter, you know, band or project to mimic or emulate another band that I've done, or whatever's you know, at the top of the list in their life. I'm going to create like we created when Slayer first started. We created from the heart. We felt this was cool. You know, we didn't do it because everybody else was doing it. We did it because we liked it. And so that's the way I've conducted myself and approached my music. Is, you know, it's my creativity that I want to show people.
And that's exactly what comes across in your music, because if you manufacture it like that just to please your old fans or whatever, it's never going to be the same. So you go with your instinct every band or project you work with. Yeah,
and that's when you create something new and fresh, not when you're trying to copy, you know, any other band. What you do in creativity is what, you know, I think it defines you, and if you get lucky, you tap into something special and people like it, and then it becomes a success.
You've got a chance to work with so many different people over the years. Is there anybody that you can think of that you'd like to collaborate with that you've not had an opportunity to thus far?
You know, many, actually. I mean, there's a lot of artists. I mean, I really admire Trent Reznor and what he's done. You know, his collaborations, his works. You know, I really got into, you know, the industrial scene. When everybody got into Pantera, you know, in the 90s, I took a right.
Yeah,
you know,
so you swung the other way.
I went the industrial world. I went Skinny Puppy. I went to Ministry, obviously 9 Inch Nails, Revolting Cocks. I went, you know, just opposite. I got into drum and bass. I got into, you know, Prodigy. I just went in a whole other direction. Although I maintained a metal band, which I had at that time was Grip Incorporated, but I still, musically, I was influenced by something else. But I was still playing heavy music. Yeah, which is kind of what I'm doing now. I'm influenced by a lot of jazz, a lot of funk, a lot of world music, but I'm still playing in a heavy band. But those elements will start coming out in the style, you know, as they filter through me and it comes out in the drums.
That leads me to ask you about a question from a person from my hometown in Ireland about your album with Drums of Death, as a brief stint you did.
Yes, Drums of Death. That was that's DJ Spooky, and several other. I think Chuck D from Public Enemy was on it.
That's right.
God, I can't remember the Dangers. Last name Dangers. I don't remember the name. But anyways, yeah, it's just me dabbling in rap and more of the hip hop DJ style of music, which I enjoyed because I got to do a battle with a DJ, with obviously DJ Spooky. So he's playing some beats, and then I'll go into the beat and solo over that, and then he'll then play something else and start scratching, and it was good. It was fun.
Do you think there might be a second album?
Maybe not. I mean, I don't think with him, but you know, who knows what other musicians or DJs or programmers or artists, you know, I could collaborate with. The door's not closed. I loved it, so I mean, it's good.
Now, lastly, given that you've been kind enough to sit at your drum kit for this interview, I don't think we can do this interview and not ask you to play something. Is there what parts have you come up with? You think through the years, if you really look forward to playing live with any of the bands that you've been involved with, is there any part of the show that you're playing you think looking forward to playing that track because I love the drum part?
Yeah, but it's the combination of the drums and the guitar and the bass that make up the moment for me. So yeah, I could play that drum beat and people and metal fans will say to me, "Oh, dude, that shit's easy." Yeah, but when you put it together, you know, with that the feeling of the musicians performing, that's a different thing. Well, first of all, the drum pedals have to both be even in tension and in their setting. Imagine walking with, you know, two different shoes.
Right.
That's what it would be like if you didn't have them adjusted correctly. It just doesn't feel right. So I would suggest to adjust the drum pedals as even as possible. Have the drum head, you know, pretty tight, you know, not loose, because you need to have some the slap back, you know, the bounce off of the drum head. And start slow with the metronome. I don't know how I did it. It just came naturally because I was rehearsing with Slayer, you know, 3-4 times a week, you know, as a kid. So I developed this naturally, you know. And there was no time to stop because the song's 3 minutes, and if I'm tired, you have to keep going.
Right.
It's a song, dude. You got to build it up, you know. So you just have to practice, practice, and start slow with the metronome, and then, you know, bump up the metronome until you feel a little more comfortable. If it hurts, good. You've reached your threshold. Now it's time to push that. Keep pushing. You know, same with bass. When you're playing, it's going to hurt. But after a week of shows, how does it feel? It feels great. You're just, you know, it's fluid. So I think, you know, those are the 3 best tips I can give them. And play in a band. Playing in your garage, playing by yourself isn't going to push you. Right. You need the other members in the band to you know, to push you and influence you, and you know, yada yada.
And those members of the band have got to be your friends as well. That you
yes, exactly.
Hugely important in this industry. Yeah, I think just give us a blast of whatever you want, inclusive of double kick chaos.
Are you sure the cameras can handle it? Do you guys have it? It's going to distort.
Yeah, we'll distort, but...
Well, we'll invest in new cameras. Tanya will buy a couple tomorrow. It's fine.
That probably does... I just want to hear it.
Yeah. Jeez, I don't know what to play.
I know it's... I don't want to bet. Boom.
Sorry, I just felt the moment there's every day I had to play.
Awesome, thanks very much.
Taking control of your, losing control of your mind.